In this lesson, I'll show you how to create and customize posts in WordPress. In the last lesson, I explained the difference between posts and pages. But just to remind you, a WordPress post is what makes up the blog aspect of your site. These are generally news or informational articles about a certain topic. And posts are listed in chronological order. They can be tagged and categorized, and even archived on your site. WordPress posts are what make up the RSS content of your blog. So when someone subscribes to your RSS feed, your posts are the content that's delivered to them. So think of posts as the news portion of your site. They're dynamic and they're constantly changing the content that your audience sees. So let's take a look at some examples and then I'll show you how to create your WordPress posts. Now once again, how your posts appear on the page have a lot to do with your theme. You can obviously customize using plugins as we talked before, and there'll be some customization that you can do in the editing itself. So let's take a look at a couple examples. This is on a finance website, Simple Steps for Creating a Budget. This is an example of the way some themes display a featured image. Often within your post, you'll have hyperlinks to other posts. That's what this is an example of. You might have photos and videos that help illustrate your point. This is an example of different types of headings that I'll show you in a moment. You can break up your text with bullet points. You can even create different types of graphics, and that's something I'm going to cover in a future lesson. Here's another blog post from the same website. This one has a lot more images to illustrate each point. They also hyperlink to outside sources. This is a good example of how you could use affiliate links as well to help monetize your blog. And finally, we'll look at one example from my website. This is an article about how to camp for free. This is a hyperlink to another article that I wrote. I often use YouTube videos that I've produced and embed them. Sometimes instead of embedding a photo, I'll embed a link from my Instagram. The reason why I do this is because it encourages people to go over to my Instagram account and follow me there. I also provide links to some of the places that we stayed. So the links aren't only internal, but they're external as well. So let's go ahead and look at how to create and edit a post. So here we are at our WordPress dashboard or backend, and before we write any blog posts, we need to check our permalinks. So come down here to Settings. If you hover over it, you'll get all of these options, and we want to go to permalinks. Many times the default is going to be set up with some type of random thing, like it might be the date, or it might be the archives, or it even might just be some weird number like this. Now what you want to do is make sure that your permalinks actually have the title of your blog post in them or a keyword or two, because that helps your search engine optimization. And as a matter of fact, here you see that changing your permalink settings can impact your search engine visibility. And it should almost never be done on a live website. So what that means is if you have already published some blog posts, it's probably not a good idea to go back to those blog posts and change the permalink or URL. That's because other people have likely shared it. There might be some pins out there. There might be some Facebook posts, and you don't want people going to those and getting errors that say, like those 404 site not found type of errors. However, it doesn't hurt anything to go ahead and change the right now to post name for all future blog posts. That way they're going to have part of the name in the actual URL, and that name is likely going to have keywords, and it is going to help your SEO or search engine optimization. So if it's not already here, change it to post name, and then you're going to come down and save changes. And I will also just say the reason why, for me at least, and for most people, it's not important to have the date in there is because you're going to update these pages, these posts, I mean, and you're going to make them what's known as evergreen, which means that they're always valid. So even though it might have been a post that you originally wrote in, say, 2018, it's still current and relevant because you're updating it. For example, on my content calendar, every week I not only write a new blog post, but I go back to an old blog post and just make sure that it's updated. So if you had to make a change, hit Save Changes, come up here to Posts. If you hover over it, these 4 items will come up. If you click on it, those 4 items will go down below it, like that, and it automatically gives you a list of your posts. Right now, we're going to add new. So the first thing that you need to do is add a title. Once you add a title, the first thing that comes up is Start Writing or Type, or you can choose a block. And my most common blocks that come up here are add an image, add text, add a gallery. If I click right there, your most used come up here. If you change that, then you have all, not only most used, but common, some additional formatting that you can do, widgets, embeds, some other plugins. Right now we're going to do a text. And you see right here, this is regular, or this is change the box, and these are headers. I don't actually want it to be a header or subheader. I want it to be paragraph text, so I'm just going to click that. And now I'm going to add a little bit of text. Now, it's good practice as you go through and write blog posts to use subheaders throughout your posts because they help with search engine optimization. So now I'll add a subheader. Although you see when I put it in here, it's actually just regular text. So how do you change that? Again, you come up here, change block type. I'm going to change it to heading, and I want it to be heading 2. If I did subheaders under that, I'd do 3, 4, so on. Now, other things that you can do with your text is you can bold or italicize parts, or even put a hyperlink, which I will show you in just a minute. Let's add some more text first. If you want to add another text box, you just enter, add some more text. It's a good idea to break up text with other subheaders, so let's add another subheader. Again, you just change it right here. Now, what I'm going to add here is actually a link to a YouTube video about this race that we went to. Another thing is I could find that website and actually get a hyperlink. So let's say Foam Glow 5K 2019, foamglow.com. So I'm going to come over here, and here's how you add a hyperlink. You just click on this right here, link. Then if you hit the drop down here, there's this button that says Add in New Tab. Anytime I'm doing a hyperlink that goes outside of my website, this is called an external link, I open it in a new tab so that it opens a new window in people's browsers and it doesn't take them totally away from my page. Now I'm going to add a YouTube video, and it doesn't show. So you can search for it this way, or I could have searched through it by using the drop down. I just enter a link to a YouTube video that Foam Glow has put together, and that has added it into my blog. Now I want to add some more text. This is a link. You want to check and make sure, oops, open a new tab. They also have a YouTube video, and now because I just used it, YouTube comes up as a recent. Add some more text. Now I think instead of ending with this personal one, I'm going to put it up at the top, and I'll show you why. because what I want to do is actually add an image block. Now, did you notice how I got this up here is just by pushing this up? I could also do this and push it down. And instead of saying we've also, I'm just going to say we've completed. Make it. Now I'm going to enter and it's going to put a new block here. But what I'm going to do is make it an image. When you choose an image block, you get 3 different options for how to include it. One is upload. That's the most common way. It takes you to your computer. And I have an image here ready to go. Now when you do that, it puts it in your image gallery, but it doesn't add any of the details that you will need to add. Actually, the very next lesson after this one is about images, and it's going to explain what we need to do for the alt text, the title, caption, description. So I'm going to leave this blank right now because then we'll be able to come and use this as an example in that lesson. So I've added an image, and we'll add one more subheader. Okay, I'm going to add one more image. Actually, and let me show you when I add one more image another way to do it. If I click Media Library, what happens is my existing media library comes up. I can also choose Upload Files and select a file like I just did, or you can even drag and drop. And again, I'm not going to complete these right now because we're going to do that in the very next lesson. As I'm working, I will typically select Save Draft. And I do this as I go along just so it saves my draft so that I don't lose all my work in case something happens. Now, next to Save Draft, you see another option is Preview. If you click on Preview, what it does is it generates a preview and opens it up in another tab. This is not live on your website yet. It's just a preview for you to see what it's going to look like. So here's my title, and then here's what my blog is going to look like. Now, I didn't want this here. Or no, I didn't want these. Yeah, I didn't want this here. So I'm going to have to go reorder things. That's the beautiful thing about this editor. It lets you move things around. I wanted to have that Tough Mudder and Foam Glow up above Free Training. So let's find it. Here's the Tough Mudder. Okay. And then I think there was another one, the Foam Glow video. Here's the discussion about Foam Glow. I want the video right after it. And then I want the Tough Mudder video to be right where we're talking about the Tough Mudder. Okay. Now, Free Training, and then my success. And I'm going to show you just a few more things that you can do before we look at a preview one more time. When you click in a block here, if you look over at the right, you get what's called the block editor. And there's a couple neat things you can do in the block editor. One that I particularly like is a color setting. I'm going to change to a darker color. Now I'll save my draft. Now, one last thing before you actually publish your post is the document. So if you click in any of these blocks, you see how it automatically goes to block editor. Now the document editor here will show you a few different things. So if you're going to post a blog post, do you want it to be public, which is visible to everyone? In most cases, that is what you want. That's why it's the default. You could also make it private, so it's visible only to site admins and editors. This is usually used when you have people doing a guest post for you and you create for them a login. So I am a freelance writer for Camping World, and I have a login for their site. I can go in, I do a draft, I save it as private, and then that way they can review and edit it before it goes live on their site. You could also make it password protected if you wanted to do bonus content for people who are maybe subscribers, like a resource library or something. But we're going to go ahead and make it public. The next thing that you can do is you can choose when you want to publish it. Do you want it to be immediately? So right now I'm on a Friday evening. That is probably not the best time for a new blog post, especially since I like to share them to social media right away. So I usually post mine on the same time every week. It just kind of builds that anticipation, like maybe a TV show. They know every Monday morning there's going to be a blog coming out. So then I would set the time. And this is based on your clock's time. Now you see it doesn't say publish here anymore. It says schedule, because now it's going to schedule it for this time. If you have the type of blog homepage that's not static, like we talked about in the last lesson, but one that just shows your most recent blog post, but you wanted to leave this one to the top, that's where you would use this. And then the last one again is if you have people writing guest posts for you. Now this has 4 revisions just because I saved it as a draft 4 times. Now remember that permalink we talked about? Okay, this is the permalink now. So the preview is it's flifestyle.com 5K-frugal-fitness- and fun. Do I really want it to be that long? That depends. That's totally up to you. I'm going to go ahead and take it down a little bit just to 5K Frugal Fitness. Now it was okay to do this because I haven't published the post yet. Once I publish it, I don't want to change my permalink without doing some other things to redirect, because we don't want it, if it was already saved or people already bookmark it, for them not to be able to find it later. But at this point, it was okay to make that change because it hasn't gone out yet. Categories. You never want to leave it as uncategorized. You need to put it into one of your major categories. Now, I'm not going to talk about this too much right now because the next lesson is on images, and then the lesson after that is on categories. And I'm going to explain more in detail why I would choose these categories. But just for this point, know that you should have categories, at least one. You don't want to leave something uncategorized, and that is for search engine optimization. And also to make it easy for people to find your amazing content. So if you're choosing more than one category, out of those categories you would choose which is the most relevant. Tags also help with search engine optimization. They help with that key wording. So again, we will make this fitness. We'll make this fitness and fun. That is what's called a long tail keyword. It's a little bit longer. And that's really all I'm going to say about tags. In this course, what I'm trying to do is teach you the basic technical skills to get your blog up and running. So adding some basic tags, oh, I should put one more, just to help the search engines index your site and properly note these blog posts. You just need to have some tags with keywords of your website. I would encourage you, after you complete this course, to take another course, actually, that I'm one of 4 instructors of, and it's called Blogging Camp, and that's when we get more into choosing the right content and making sure that your readers are involved, and having to develop an audience. And then we also get into monetization. And then after that, I would encourage you to take an SEO course. And after that, you might take another course. There's always something new to learn. I'm still always taking courses. But for now, for basic technical skills, this is good. Featured image. On some blogs, you want to set a featured image so that it will draw from that when it goes onto social media. It depends on your theme. I'm not going to do it for this particular theme because for this particular theme, when you set a featured image, it automatically takes that image and puts it right at the top of the blog, and I don't want that. But go ahead and play with that for your theme. Set a featured image, go up to preview, see if you like it. Excerpt, this is if you want to have a manual excerpt. I'm not going to do that because you'll see why in a little bit when I talk about SEO. You could also click and read this article about it. Discussion, do you want to allow comments? Yes, I do want to allow comments, and I do want to allow people to link back to it. If you notice here, there's something about the sidebar. We control the sidebar through the front end, like I showed you on the lesson about widgets and customization. You could also disable navigation or footer. I wouldn't do that. Again, if I wanted to change any of those things, it would be on the front page. So if you have questions about that, go to the lesson on widget and you'll see it. So now, if I was ready, I would click schedule, and when we look at our list of posts, it would show a schedule. I'm not going to click schedule just yet because remember I didn't fill in all the criteria on the images yet because I wanted to wait until after that lesson. So I'm going to leave this as a draft so that you can see what it looks like. Once I've saved it, I'm just going to click over here on the word posts or all posts. It gets you the same thing, and it takes you to a list of all of the posts that you've written so far, and you can see for this website there's 12 have been published and there's one draft. That's actually the very first one. It says draft. When I bring my cursor down here, it gives me a couple extra things. One is you could throw it away. You can preview it so it shows you what it looks like on the front end. You could edit it, which would take us just back to the screen we were at, or you could do something called a quick edit. Let me show you what that is. That is just your main attributes. So here, the title, you could change the title. You could change the slug. Even though quick edit is an option with blog posts that are already published, please don't change that slug. That's the URL or the permalink. Don't do that once you've posted it. But I could change it to a password protected or private. We see what date it's scheduled for. I could change that right here. I could change my categories. I could change my tags. Same thing with comments. And it's a draft right now. I could go ahead and change it to published from here. If I made any of those changes to save them, I would click update. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hit cancel. Now, one more thing I want to show you is if you look over here, you might be wondering what these colors are. These are for Yoast SEO. That was a plugin that I showed you back in the plugin lesson. So let's go back into the edit module and let me show you how Yoast SEO can help someone who doesn't really know anything about search engine optimization, and it's a good non-techie kind of way to optimize your posts. Come down here. It's at the bottom of your blog post will be Yoast SEO if you have installed and activated this post. So here is, I'm on the SEO tab and it shows I haven't filled anything in yet. It's gray. So the first thing is it asks me for a focus key phrase. The thing I love about Yoast SEO is you click those question marks, it takes you to their site and articles they've written, how to choose good keywords. Now this is a good thing for tags too. Okay, so I'm on the keyword key phrase. It's the search term that you want your page to rank for the most. So let's go back to the blog post and say, what do you want it to rank for the most? Well, I want it to rank for frugal fitness. Now watch what happens once I hit enter on that. My SEO thing turned from gray to orange. Let's see why. I love the way they do the colors, kind of like stoplight, except for this is orange instead of yellow because it's green, orange, and red. This snippet preview is what will happen if it comes up on a Google search. It tells you right now that you need a meta description by editing the snippet below. And this is what it looks like on a smartphone, and this is what it looks like if someone is searching on Google or Bing on their computer. So you need to edit a snippet. And at this point, you want to modify your description by editing it here. And what I really like about this is that in the snippet, it will tell you about the length that you want it to be, and it'll tell you if it's too long. This article, now I'm in the green, includes tips for training too. Now I'm in the orange because I put that exclamation. Now, if you went, and you don't have to always be green on everything. It's really just a goal. There's not like a rule that, oh my gosh, Google isn't going to rank you because you're one character over. So I'm going to close the snippet editor. Now it's still orange. Why is it orange? Okay, let's do the drop down here and see. It says actually that you should have some synonyms and related key phrases. Now this says there's no internal links in this website, that you should add some. So we had external links, remember, but no internal links. So what you would do is go to the front end of your website and find another article that relates to that and say, you know, learn more about this here. So here's Fun and Frugal Date Ideas. So in this article, Fun and Frugal Date Ideas, there's outdoor activities is on there. So how about we come over here to this article and we say, like, what's so fun about it? In fact, it could be considered another frugal and fun date idea. And then we'll make this a hyperlink. So you remember how? You click up here, you put in your hyperlink. Now since it's on my own website, I'm not going to have it open in a new tab because people are on my website. Okay, so now let's come back down to our Yoast SEO. And it's telling us that there is a key phrase in introduction. Your key phrase or synonyms do not appear in the first paragraph. Make sure the topic is clear immediately. And also your focus key phrase was found 0 times. You need to have it. And you need to have it in a subheading. Gee whiz, they sure are making me do a lot of work, but they're going to help me rank in search engines. So I want to do it. So you're going to come back up here to the start of your blog and you're going to want to make sure that you have that in your opening paragraph. So you have to play around with it a little bit, and that's what I love about this Yoast SEO. You can just try to play around with things and find out, you know, what works the best. This image, alt attributes, needs to be done, but it's going to be in the next lesson. You might want your key phrase in the title. Your SEO title is too short, so you might want to use the space to add key phrase variations. Again, all of these are articles that we could go to and read more about. And then all of these other things are important to SEO, and we have green on all of those. So that's all the changes I'm going to make right now, but I just wanted to show you what a robust program that is, even in the free. That was the free. You can get even more if you go premium. So we're going to come back here to our list of posts, and that's where you even get a snapshot. This is readability, and this is the SEO portion. So the next lesson, like I said, we're going to talk about images and how to get those right. And then we're going to talk about categories. You can use both of those lessons, and then we'll come back to this one and publish it, and you will have your first blog post up and running.